Well, guys, got a little bit of a surprise for you today. I know I told a couple people about this already, but we got a new tractor. This bad boy right here. It's a 1964 Oliver 1800 Series C diesel. Not too many of those floating around. This one is all original, and the cool part about it is Dad knew the guy that sold it brand new, and Dad and I both knew the guy that bought it new. It was owned by a gentleman by the name of Max Morley just north of town here, who just so happens to be the guy I bought my 7300 combine from, and my 60T baler, my 95 hay crimper, and my 82 sickle bar mower, and that 378 4.0 cultivator I showed you in another video. Actually plug this thing in so I can start it for you. It's got the 310 Waukesha in it, Lanova style injectors, so that's part of the reason it starts a little harder when it's cold. That Lanova injector system is considered a slow burn diesel, and they generally don't like starting in the cold to begin with. But also the glow plug-in, it works, but it's a little weak, and it just starts a whole lot easier if you plug it in. So yeah. This thing's completely original. The tin on it's perfect. There's no cracks. All the bolt holes are still round. The battery door's not all wadded up. There's no rust holes in it. The fenders on this thing are rock solid, which is, you never find that on tractors like this. Usually the fenders are all broke out around here and they flop around, or they got wadded up in the back or something. We done quite a bit of work to it. The radiator's been recored. Got it. What all do we do to the front end of it? Actually, I don't think we've done a whole lot to the front. It's mostly been the back. Because when we got this tractor, we drove it around. Transmission was quiet. I mean, that's part of the reason we bought it. And got it home. I had to go back down to school, so Dad started messing with it, and he's changing the oil, or changing all the fluids in it. Got the radiator off to have it record, because when we power washed it off, the radiator started leaking. But he went to drain the transmission fluid, and chunks of gear started coming out. So I was like, all right. He pulled the power takeoff off of it and looked up in there, and it was not a pretty picture. The bull pinions had started flaking, which in turn ruined the bull gears. So we had to go in there, we had to pull the top off the transmission, pull the hydraulic unit off of it, had to go in there, pull the axles out, pull the brake housings off to get the bull pinions out, pull the bull gears out, and replace the bull pinions and bull gears, reset the backlash on the pinion gear. The carrier bearings for the bull pinions were roached. Luckily, when we found a new set of 1800 gears, the tractor they took those gears out of had good bearings in it. So we reused old bearings, and the carrier bearings for the bull pinions on this don't have cages, and they don't have an attached race. There's a race pressed into the transmission housing, and there's a race pressed into the bull pinion carrier, and then you have to put, if I remember right, there's 56 individual needle bearings that you have to put in by hand to reassemble the bull pinion carrier and pinion gear, or ring gear. Luckily, it didn't hurt the ring and pinion, or that would have been a whole lot worse. Um, oh, one cool thing about this, and I know you won't be able to see it because it's dark in here and you can't even hardly see it with the naked eye because of the just years of rust on the frame, but right here on the front bolster and right here on the front of the transmission, the original owner, Max, etched his name and address in the tractor. So this is probably, I'm not going to say the only, but probably one of the few tractors around of any breed that has the original owner's name and address on it permanently, which we thought was kind of cool. You know, it's not something you find very often. Don't mind that 770. That's not ours. We're working on it for somebody, but it's a diesel too. That came from down at Polk's. It's been on eBay forever. But this one's got all the original gauges in it. The amp gauge unfortunately doesn't work, but everything else does. I'll take that back. The speedometer doesn't work. Dad's gonna get that redone. Hour meter works. It's got 4,500, basically 4,550 hours on it. Max sold this tractor in 1981 to get and replaced it with a 285 white. When he sold this tractor, it had just shy of 4,000 hours on it in 81. So basically, from 1981 to 2014, this tractor only had another 500 hours put on it by the next two owners. And unfortunately, if you don't know, well, you guys have seen that 7300. That thing is pristine. It sat inside its entire life, got washed every year. I mean, Max was particular about stuff, and he took care of stuff. And the same with this tractor. It went in the barn every night, and it was always washed, cleaned up. If something leaked, it was fixed. If something broke, it was fixed. That's just the way this guy was. And unfortunately, the two people that owned it after him, not so much. We happen to know for a fact that the second owner had it parked outside for the 5 or 6 years, whatever it was that he owned it. Never sat inside, never washed it, and all he did was brush chop with it. And part of the reason the radiator was leaking after Dad cleaned it out was there was so much crap packed in the radiator that there was only about a 3-inch diameter hole you could actually see daylight through. And the grill screen was all packed full of crap, and we don't even know how the heck the thing didn't run hot. Luckily, the third owner, all he ever did was pull a grain drill with it, so it never really worked hard. But he did park it in a barn when he wasn't using it. I'm not sure it made it in the barn every night because he's not that kind of guy. But he didn't wash anything. He didn't. That's one nice thing about this tractor, though, is those next two owners didn't farmerize it. The wiring harness isn't all jacked up. There's not what Dad and I call them farmer fixes, just stupid stuff that wasn't fixed right, cobbled together. That has not happened to this tractor. It's box stock original, and that's part of the reason that we bought it. Is you don't find 1800s that look like this. And the fact that we knew the guy who sold it brand new, and the fact that we knew the guy who bought it brand new. And it's a 64 model, and Max bought it new in 65. And he bought this and a 556 5-bottom spring trip plow. And he gave, if I remember correctly, he gave $3,900 for the tractor and the plow, because the tractor was a year old sitting on the lot still. So basically, we've been through the whole rear end. Everything's new in there. Hydraulic pump runs quiet. Hydraulics are strong, so we're not expecting to have to do much to the hydraulics. Nothing leaks. Max had a bunch of work done to it right before he sold it, so it's got a bunch of new seals and crap in the hydraulics. We replaced a couple of hydraulic lines because they got rusted out from dirt and crap sitting in here and sitting under the transmission cover. The guy we bought it from had the pump redone a couple years ago, and I know for a fact he wasn't lying about that, because it got rebadged as a stand-in, and it should have a Rusa Master tag on it if it was still original. So the pump's been redone. Next year, Dad's wanting to pull the motor out and go through it. It's supposedly been redone once before, but some of the stuff that we've seen on it, he just wants to go through and double check and have the injectors cleaned and check the tolerances in the head and mic the crank and stuff like that. And he hasn't decided yet. It's got a hydropower in it now. He doesn't know if he wants to put a hydro shift in it or keep the 2-speed. Personally, I kind of wanted to put a 3-speed in it, but I guess it's all going to depend on the money situation. So that's that. And I'm going to go show you the next cool part that came with that tractor. About the hardest thing with finding old tractors like this is tracing down the history. But we got a little bit more than just the history. We got the original operator's manual. And where's that? Right here. 1800 diesel, serial number, Ted Wiggins, Niles, Michigan. That was a dealer. We knew him and we knew his son. Max Morley, Route 1, Galeen, Michigan, which Route 1 is not Route 1 anymore. That's the guy who bought it originally. Ted Wiggins signature. Max A. Morley, 2/13/1965. And you go through here and he's got some Max had some notes and stuff written in it. But here is the coolest part. On the note page, every single thing Max ever had done to that tractor up until, where's that next page at? Up until 1981 when he sold it. This is all stuff from the next two owners. So we got 1, 2, 3 pages of maintenance history on that tractor, and everything is major. January 68, removed head and milled. April 1968, changed oil and filter, installed. I can't read what the heck that says. At 1,000 hours, so whatever the heck you put on in 1,000 hours. 69, check valve clearance. 69, change oil and hydropower. 69, front wheel bearing wash and repacked. 69, removed hydropower, installed new seals, changed over kit. 72 at 2,000 hours, adjusted valves, installed new brakes, replaced transmission, hydropower. I gotta admit, for a guy that had such neat handwriting, it's hard to read. 76 at 3,200 hours, replaced camshaft, overhaul hydropower, grind valves, new clutch, installed dual fan pulley and belts, service injectors, new oil and hydropower, also filter. 81, new oil and filter and hydropower at 3,900 hours. And then this is all stuff from the next two owners. So yeah, that's kind of the cool thing about that, is we got a little bit more than just the family history. We got the service history, and That's probably all the service that ever got done to it, because knowing the two guys that had it after Max, it probably didn't get a whole lot of service done to it. So yeah, that's that. Hopefully I get a few more videos before I go back to school. I'm on Christmas break right now. So, well, go see if I can get this thing to fire up. It ain't too terribly cold, so. One nice thing about this tractor, you don't got to leave it plugged in long and she will start. Since the glow plug's weak, you gotta hold this thing forever. Dad's gonna get a new one ordered here. I think he said this week, so. Which will be nice, because I've been using the crap out of this tractor. I've been moving stuff around with it, and I gotta take it out probably tomorrow, and after the ground freezes up good and hard, and I'm gonna cut some wood with it, so I'm gonna try to get a video of that. I got a second video camera, so I might hopefully I can start getting more video in case this GoPro decides to keep acting up on me, but I think I got it fixed. Alright. One of my favorite parts about this tractor is since it doesn't got the turbo on it, you can still hear that cool old school diesel knock. I don't know, there's just something about that sound I like. But I don't think that's too bad for, I think Weather Channel said it's 29 degrees out right now, so. And I think it's actually colder in the barn than what it is outside. That's what it feels like anyway. And when we first got this thing, it was smoking blue real bad. Well, not real bad, but you could look and tell there was blue smoke. And we didn't know what to think of it. So we got all the engine work done to it. Dad dumped some new fuel in there. And between a good dose of Seafoam, and I think he poured some Lucas in there, Lucas oil in there too. That thing cleaned out real good, and it's running a whole lot better, and the throttle response is a lot more snappy. So I don't know how many of you guys ever heard of that Seafoam or Lucas, but man, we're after running it in this, that 1600, we run it in the Fleet lines. We're firm believers in that stuff. So, well, that's the new toy. Hopefully I'm going to get a few more videos up here before the end of break. So, take her easy, guys.